Hi everybody, my name's Amy and welcome to this video review. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm just going to go through everything we did in today's Key Stage 3 geography lesson, so you can get a little bit of a feel for the kind of things that we do. So I'm going to share with you now. After I welcomed all of the children, we talked about what a wonderful world we live in, and we had to think of one thing that we really love about our world. And there were lots of really nice answers. People were talking about the creatures and the animals that live in our world. People were talking about different countries. We talked about the oceans and the water. So there's lots and lots of lovely answers. Now, don't worry, in a live lesson, I'm never going to put you on the spot, or I'm never going to demand that you answer me or anything. The children have lots of options. So you can wave at me if you want to answer the question, or you can raise your hand in Zoom. If you don't want to speak to me, that's absolutely fine. You can type your answer in the chat. And then I will be able to read it. And you don't have to do anything at all. You can just write it on your piece of paper or just listen along at home. All are perfectly good options. So to start off with this, then we did this first little starter activity. We looked at 3 houses around the world from 3 different countries. So these were the countries. We had China, Tanzania, which is a country in Africa, and a country called Haiti, which is in the Caribbean. Doesn't matter if you don't know where they are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal 3 pictures of houses, and all you have to do is just guess which house is in which country. Okay, so let me show you now. So we've got house 1, house 2, and house 3, and the children have to see if they can guess it. And if they're confident or they've had a quick go of guessing, then they had a go of trying to estimate the monthly salary of somebody who would live in that house. So how much somebody would earn. Okay, so I'll show you the answers now. What did you think? So this one is China. We looked at the clues for why people might say that's China. That would be somebody who earns $738 a month. This one, did you get this one? Did you get this one? This one was Tanzania in Africa. And this one is Haiti, a really very poor country in the Caribbean, only $51 per month. Wow, just over $1 a day there. Okay, so we talked about that. We looked at like clues of why we thought that. And then we went on to look at something very similar, which is 3 toilets from around the world. So one toilet is from Haiti, which was the country we looked at before. One is from America, the USA, and one is from an African country called Ghana. So again, the children just had to match up which toilet they thought was from which country. So have a go now if you want, and I will reveal all. So this one is a toilet in Ghana, and this was the one in Haiti. So slightly different income here, just a little bit less. And this is somebody in the United States. Okay, good stuff. So our focus for today's lesson was all about climate zones. This is something we're going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks. And we're going to follow the Key Stage 3 national curriculum. Now, I've called this session Geography/World Matters because a lot of the children have got their own questions about things, and they also are kind of interested in things that come up in kind of current affairs, things that they read about on the news that we could maybe talk about. So we do generally follow the Key Stage 3 curriculum, but we might add a few little other bits in there as the children come up with their own ideas. Okay, so we're looking at climate zones, and we started off by thinking about different kinds of weather and some things we already know about weather. Got lots of answers for this. So we talked about hailstones, cloudy days, sunny days. We talked about twisters even. So lots and lots of different kinds of weather. And then we talked about what exactly a climate zone is, and we looked at the definition. So climate zone is a region on Earth characterized by similar weather patterns. So countries that are in the same climate zone, or areas that are in the same climate zone, will have very similar weather patterns within that. So same temperature, similar precipitation. We looked at the definition of this word. And we talked about it influencing the plants and animals found there. We looked at this little example here of a Arctic hare, and we talked about how it was adapted for life in the polar regions. We looked at this map, we talked about these lines, which are really important, and we have our key down here. I'm not going to go through everything, you kind of need to be in the lessons. And then we went through one by one, looking at the different climate zones and the little definitions for each of them. So we've got Mediterranean mountains and polar and temperate. And the children had a go of just jotting down what the weather, what the climate is like in each of these zones. And then we talked specifically about countries that might be in these zones. And we had a go of doing that. Don't worry if you ever miss anything in the lesson, because these little worksheets I put on the Google Classroom for follow-up afterwards. So if you didn't get it all done in the lesson, you can always review. And then we had a little moment just talking about extreme weather events and how when we get things like this first one we talked about a little bit. So this is a drought. It looks like maybe some lake or a reservoir that's dried up, perhaps due to extremely hot weather. It's been very, very dry. And often these extreme weather events are events that happen in different climate zones. Yeah, so maybe this might be in a temperate region, but it might have an extreme weather event, which might be a drought, which might cause it to dry up. We looked at lots of these. We talked about the differences in tornadoes and twisters and hurricanes and typhoons, because they're often quite easily confused. We talked briefly about bushfires and twisters. We even mentioned water spouts as well. So that is pretty much all we covered, but actually we covered quite a lot, didn't we, in that first lesson. And we finished with a game as well, a couple of games. So if you are thinking about joining Key Stage 3 Geography, this is what it looks like. Get in touch and I'll point you in the right direction.